welcome to Teacher Gimble's Classroom. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe below so I can continue to make more of them. Today we're going to be going over Illustrative Math, Algebra 1, Lesson 4, Practice Problem Set. Let's get started. If you have any questions about this video or this content's a little bit confusing, feel free to go back and watch my video on Lesson 3 or Lesson 2, which covers the same content. All right, problem number 1. Which dot plot shows a symmetric distribution? Symmetric is a word that you should recognize from some geometry lessons that you've probably taken, and that means that it looks the same on both sides. So we're looking for some type of distribution where we're looking at all of our data, where it looks similar on the right side of the data and on the left side of the data. This dude has a tail over here, but doesn't really have a tail on this side, so I'm going to cross him out as one of my options. This guy over here, he has a nice tail and a nice tail. This looks like it's a good option, so I'm going to put a check next to him. We're going to keep going. We're going to look at C and D. In this case, this got a lot going on. We've got it goes up, it comes down, it goes up and down again. That doesn't look symmetric. It's not the same on both sides. So we're going to put an X over here. And here it goes down, up and down again, or up, down, and up again. And that also is not the same on both sides. So the best symmetric distribution we have is B. And in general, our symmetric distributions are going to have that shape that looks slightly like a mound. Let's go on to the next question. Problem number 2. Which of the dot plots showed a skewed distribution? So let's look at all 4 dot plots that we have below. So a skewed distribution means that one side is kind of dragging out. So let's look at the images that we have, and actually our fat marker works pretty well for this. So that's our first distribution. This is our second distribution. This is our mound-shaped distribution, so this guy's symmetric. None of these have a tail that's dragging out. So I'm going to keep looking at my answer options and go down to D. Over here, let's go ahead. And in this case, I see that I've got this tail that comes out. The tail is on the right side, so this guy is going to be my skewed. And because the tail is on the right, it's actually a right skewed distribution. All right. Let's go on to the next question. Create a dot plot showing a uniform distribution. So a uniform distribution is a distribution where all of the data values are the same. And that's pretty easy to create. So we want a dot plot. So I'm going to start with a number line. And I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the uniform means there's the same number of values for each one. So if I have 3 values for 1, we're going to have 3 values for 2. We'll have 3 values for 4, 3 values for 5. And there we go. That's my uniform distribution. For each value, it's the same. Question number 4. The data represents the number of ounces of water that 26 students drank before donating blood. I look up my data. It goes between 8 and 88. Okay. Create a dot plot for the data. So, as we've done with a dot plot and a box plot are similar because in both cases, we are going to start with a number line. Now, beginning with a dot plot, I see my lowest value is 8. My highest value is 80. That's a pretty wide spread of things, so I'm going to count by tens because I have to get from 10 to 80, from 8 to 80, and I know that if I do every number, I am going to be writing for ages. Now, as you get to higher levels of statistics, you'll actually be using a lot of online tools to do this instead of doing it by hand, but it's useful to do it by hand. So I've got 3 values, which are 8s. So I'm going to represent that by 3 dots. I have 3 values, which are 16, which is going to go kind of right in between the 10 and the 20. So that's 3 more dots. I have 6 values, which is 32. So that's 6 dots right here. I have 7 values that are 64. So 7 dots over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 dot values for 80. And then finally, I have 3 values for 88. There we go. We created our dot plot. We want to always to make sure that we have a label. So in this case, our numbers represent ounces of water. So I'm going to put OZ of water on the bottom so I know what we're talking about. We now have to create a box plot for the data. Now, if you watch my earlier videos, you know I always make a little table when I do box plots. And because I need 5 values for every single one of my box plots. So I need my min, I need my max, I need my median, I need my Q1, my Q3. And at this point, we should be expert at finding these. So my minimum value is my smallest value. That's an 8 because that's my lowest value. My maximum value will be my highest value, which will be 88. My median is going to be the one that's in the middle. So I'm going to quickly do this. We got 3 on this side, 3 88s. We got 3 16s. We got 3 80s. And we've got, let's go ahead and calculate this quickly. Now, if you've been watching these videos and taking these lessons on your own, you should have taken a lot of medians. So you should have gotten the hang of this by now. I'm now going to find my Q1 and Q3 by finding the middle of my lower 50% of the data. So I got 3 on this side. I'm going to cross out 3 here. I'm going to cross out 3 here. And that gets me another 3 here, which makes these 2 values or middle values. And if you remember, when you have 2 middle values, you add them up, you divide by 2, which gives us 48 divided by 2, which is 24. So our Q1 is 24. We're now going to find the median of the top 50% of the data, doing exactly the same thing. 3 values on this side. I'm going to cross out 3 on that side, 3 on this side, 3 more on that side. And in this case, we get 80 as the middle value. 80 is the Q3. So there we go. We're at our Q3 right there. Let's keep going. We need another number line for our box plot. I'm going to use exactly the same type of number line I used up there. I could even stack it if I had the space to do it. Like I could use the same number line, but I'm not going to do that because we're still new to statistics. So we're going to make another number line. I'm going to draw my 5 lines that represent the 5 values right there. Draw my 8, my 24, my 64, my 80, and my 88. The middle 3 lines, I'm going to connect into a box. That's why we call it a box plot. And then I'm going to draw these extra lines, which represent my whiskers. And there we go. We got our box and whiskers plots. Question number 3. What information about the data is provided by the box plot that is not provided by the dot plot? Well, we have the median. We don't see the median in the dot plot. We have Q1 and Q3, which we don't see in the dot plot. But the min and the max we can see in both graphs. We could also see the spread of the data, but we can see the spread of the data also in the dot plot. What information about the data is provided by the dot plot, which is not provided by the box plot? Well, we can see how many students drank certain amounts. So in this case, number of students who drank each amount. Because in the box plot, we can see that this many students, that the middle 50% of students drank somewhere between 24 and 80, but we don't actually know how many students drank each amount. Versus here, we can see that exactly 7 students drank 54 ounces of water. So we can see those exact values, and that information is not given to us in the box plot. Question number 5. It was recommended that students drink 48 or more ounces of water. How could you use the histogram to easily display the number of students who drank the recommended amount? So 48 or more ounces of water. What that tells me is I want to create a histogram, and I'm just going to make it with 2 bins. In this case, it's going to be 48 plus, and in this case, it's going to be less than 48. All right, so they're just simply 2 bins. In the bottom bin, I'm going to put the counts of the people who drink less than 48 ounces of water. And I count 3, 6, 9, 12. So 12 students. We'll do 5, 10, 15. So we had 12 drink less than 48 ounces of water. And then we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14. We had 14 who drank more than the recommended. So we had a little bit more than half drink the recommended amount of water. In this case, I created a quick little histogram with just 2 bins because I wasn't really curious about the spread here, but mostly who drank more than 48 ounces of water. Feel free to pause this video if you have any questions or need to look at this any longer. We're going to move on to question number 5, which is our last question. The box plot represents the distribution of the number of points scored by a cross-country team at 12 meets. All right, so the lowest number that they scored was 22, and the highest amount that they scored was 42. And every other meet, they scored somewhere in between those two values. If possible, find the mean. If not possible, explain why not. I'm going to put a sad face because we can't find the mean. We don't know what those specific values are, and for the mean, you have to know all of the values so you can add them up and divide by the number there is. We do know that there are 12 meets, but we don't know the values so that we can't add them up. If possible, find the median. If not possible, explain why not. This is the nice part of a box plot. The median's right there. It's that middle line in the box. So it is 34 points because each number represents a number of points. So the median is 34 points. So half of the meets, they scored less than 34 points, and half the meets, they scored more than 34 points. The last question is, did a cross-country team ever score exactly 30 points at a meet? Well, we know they sometimes scored 22. We know that they had to score. We don't even know if they actually scored 34 because the median could be 2 numbers added and divided by 2. So the only values that we know that they definitely scored was 22 and 42. Everything else, we're not sure the exact number that they scored. So we do not know. We know that they scored close to that with the 34 points, but we don't know exactly what they scored. All right. Please let me know if you have any questions about this video. Put the questions in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe so you can follow and find more videos like this. Looking forward to seeing you next time.